You're tuned in to Voiced Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast, a forum where we discuss and explore society-based topics while advocating and providing information and resources to the community through an unscripted, unfiltered, and authentic approach. Listen on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Apple Music. Watch us on YouTube. Join our Facebook group. Follow us on social media, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Voiced Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast, your society-based channel.
Welcome to another episode of Voiced Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast. I'm your host, and my name is Danette Mahabeer-Turner. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to Voice Thoughts on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Apple Music. Be sure to join our Facebook group. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Voice Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast. Today's episode sponsors will now be presented to you by Mahabeer-Turner.
Today's title sponsor is Exit Realty Key Group. In a world where buying a home can feel like a horror movie, full of twists, surprises, and suspense, Exit Realty Key Group helps you turn fear into confidence. Because not every move needs screams or scares. Real estate without the fright. Visit them at www.exitkeygroup.com. Today's episode sponsor is Terry Burry, Health Coach. Take charge of your health today because not doing so can lead to scary results, according to Terry Burry, living younger champion and owner of Optimal Solutions for business and body. See her 2-page website for appointment or links at www.terryburry.com.
Most of you are informed that my birth country, Jamaica, has just been hit with a Category 5 Hurricane Melissa.
A lot of the families without power, it's underwater.
So Matt and I have decided that we will be taking a trip to Jamaica to help with the humanitarian disaster. We're going to be taking batteries, flashlight, medical supplies, and just anything else that the families of Jamaica will be needing while we're on this trip. So you can also be a part of this. Help Jamaica shine again by donating. Buy me a flashlight, and I will post that link beneath. For the moment you've all been waiting for. Episode 2, topic, Guts and Glory Horror Reality. Our special guest today, Dujuan Thomas. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so you've been doing some amazing things. First off, congratulations on being part of Guts and Glory Season 1. How did you first hear about the show, and what made you decide to jump into a horror competition of all things?
Yeah. So actually, I got a call in January. I was actually, I'm an elected official here in Paducah. I was at a training, I think we were in Lexington, and one of the producers called me like, hey, we thought you might be a good fit for this show. And I was like, well, yeah, I guess I'll, see what it's about. But it was honestly very secretive. So we didn't know it was a horror show until we literally were on set on that second day of filming. So it was a big surprise for all of us. But yeah, they called me. I went through the interview process. It was pretty quick, and here I am.
Oh, wow. And so what was your first reaction when you found out you've been selected for the show?
I was excited. So, because it was like a month between the first calls and everything. And then they did like a Zoom interview. And then about a week after that, they texted me like, hey, you're for sure going on the show. And I was excited because, this would be my first reality TV show. Something I've always wanted to do since I was a little kid. So I was very thrilled, to say the least.
That is amazing. So before joining the show, were you already a horror fan, or did you just have the guts to take on the challenge?
Honestly, like during the interview, they did ask questions. I guess they were kind of teasing it too. They were like, oh, do you like horror movies or things? And I think the only thing I said is I like The Walking Dead. Like I grew up watching that show. And then you'll see how that turns, how that plays into it. But I never really was a big horror fan because stuff doesn't scare me. Like I can go to Talon Falls, I can go to any horror play or like the haunted houses, and it doesn't scare me. But somehow this show found a way to scare me.
Oh, see that? You already answered some of my questions because I was going to ask you too. But you could get into more details of how would you describe Guts and Glory to someone who hasn't seen the show yet?
Oh man, someone who hasn't seen the show. If you know The Walking Dead, Greg Nicotero, he's an executive producer of that. He created this show, and he's a legend in horror and special effects. So he's made monsters for so many movies, and he's been in a lot of great projects. So to nobody who's watched the show, it's like the Blair Witch Project meets Survivor. So we're out in the woods having to survive, but then there's so many twists and turns and horror elements that are thrown at us out of nowhere.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Take us behind the scenes, Dujuan.
Yeah.
What was one of the most intense or surprising moments you've experienced while filming?
Oh my gosh, there were so many, honestly, because I'm telling you, every day, and a lot of the promos and teasers they put out there, you see me saying, "What is going on?" And it's like I didn't know what was going on. Every turn we took, there would be some kind of creature, there'd be some kind of twist. So I think one of the biggest ones is on episode 3. I think it's episode 3. The bus crashes. We pick up. I don't want to spoil too much, but the bus crashes, and we get out. And we're just out there, and, behind the scenes, all the cameramen and stuff are set up and the lights are set up. But it's still like, what is going on? Because, they're not saying anything to us, and we're just having to walk out and explore ourselves. And we're going towards a junkyard. And like, I don't know if zombies are going to come out, because the night before we found out Greg Nicotero's, the host of the show and created it. So I'm like, oh my God, are there going to be zombies out here in this junkyard? But we get out there, and then we start hearing some kind of dinosaur noises and some metal clanking, and then all of a sudden this creature comes from around the corner. And so that was very shocking. And like I said, haunted houses don't scare me, but that got me that day.
Wow, that is amazing. Yeah. And so we know Guts and Glory is a blend of competition with horror, right? Mm-hmm. What was tougher for you, the physical challenges or the psychological pressure?
I think it was a mix, because one of the challenges involved a lot of running up and down a hill. And if those of you that know me know, I do not like running. Like, that's one of my downfalls, is I'm not good with running and everything like that. So that was the only physical part. But I was hoping for strength challenges, but there really wasn't any strength challenges, because I would have excelled there. Yeah, I would have excelled there, because I'm thinking Survivor, like, oh, I got to build stuff or do something. But there was none of that. But then the mind games, like having to face my fear of heights, like that was one of the mental challenges. I knew I was going to do it. Like, I'm not going to turn around and quit for something like that. But I faced my fear and I made it across, and I didn't get eliminated. So that's a plus.
Well, and you've been in the military. I'm sure you've gone through some kind of training that was tedious as well.
Oh, yeah. And behind the scenes, they asked me, and I'm surprised they didn't air this part, but I told them, like, in the military, we had to rappel down a tower for, do basic training. And that was my first time ever willingly having to go off a building with a handmade. We had to tie our own harness with a rope. Like, it wasn't a harness that we put on. We had to make it ourselves and climb down the wall. And that was, I don't know how tall, 50 feet or whatever. So that was one and only time I've had to do it. And then I had to kind of relive that a little bit. But I did have that training that kind of helped me face it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I thought about you with that. And so what did a typical day on set look like for the contestants?
Oh, man, I don't know. See, I don't know how much I can say without ruining the show, or not ruining it, but revealing too much. But I will say we flipped from day shoots to night shoots. So on the day shoots was the first few days. And, that was easier because it's daytime, it's not as scary.
Absolutely.
But as soon as it flipped to night shoots, it's like, that's when you didn't know what to expect. And so it was late hours. Some days we'd be up to like 4 a.m. filming, because it's a long process. There was a lot of moving parts that went into the show. Like it had a high production value. They went above and beyond, but it was a lot of long nights. And behind the scenes, we had a good relationship with a lot of other people there, like Colby. That was my buddy Josh. Lucian, which is actually Norman Reedus' son. So Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, his son was on the show, and we were pretty cool friends on there. And unfortunate what happened to him on the show, but without spoiling too much, you gotta watch it.
And so, of course, before we get into any more, for those who are getting excited right now, just watching or listening to this episode, where can they actually watch the show?
Yeah, so Guts and Glory, it's on AMC Plus and Shudder, so it's on those streaming platforms. You can check it out anytime, and new episodes are coming out weekly. So I don't know by the time this episode is out, what episode will be out, but you can watch them all probably if you wait a couple days. Yep.
All right. That was a commercial brought to you by Snickers. Hungry? Why wait? Snickers, you better send me a check. Right. All right. So you mentioned about the people that you've met. What about the competitors themselves? Did you ever make close bonds with them, or was it all strategy and survival?
So behind the scenes, like when they would do our one-on-one interviews, I would tell them like, oh yeah, I'm here to win this. So this guy, I'm friends with him right now, but if it ever comes to it, he's got to get off the show. I got to win. So, but outside of that, we did have some close bonds with all the contestants. There were a few that were kind of like,
Were they just in competitive mode?
They were competitive and just, I don't know.
Or just weird.
Everybody was good. They got a good cast for the show. They really did. They picked a very diverse group. So everybody from all across the United States, different walks of life. But some like Alexis, she was and they list her as a stay-at-home mom, but she's like an entrepreneur. But she was out of her element, I'll say the least. But
Wow.
and Brian, he was a great guy too, but definitely out of his element. And he admitted that, like, you know, they asked him, have you ever been out in the woods? He was like, does it look like I've ever been in the woods? so yeah, everybody was pretty cool though, I think.
I love that. I love that. And were there any moments when you thought about quitting? And if so, what pushed you to keep going?
Oh, no. One thing about my character on the show was that I never quit. Like, they tied in my role running for office several times and my perseverance there. And that was my whole thing. Like, I don't quit. I keep going until I win. Even if I fall down, I'm going to get back up and keep going.
Truly an inspiration, Dujuan. And if you had to sum up Guts and Glory in 3 words, what would they be?
Oh, my goodness. That's a good question. Horror, twist, and turns. That may be 4 words, but
minus the and. Yeah. That's wonderful. And so now we're going to get into like a little bit of deeper, like life lessons. You were on this show, and there was the scary parts and the parts of not giving up on the show. But what's been the biggest life lesson that you've taken away from this journey so far?
Man, one thing is stepping out on fear, like stepping out on faith and not being afraid to get out of your comfort zone. Because literally, I had just been elected in the office, and I'm like, do I really want to take time? Because I was gone for a week. Fortunately, it lined up when I didn't have any meetings or anything, so it was meant to be. But I had to say, am I going to step out and do something different? Am I going to, take this chance? And I'm glad I did, because it's really a blessing at the end of the day, because now that's getting me more exposure in a positive way. And people message me and things like that. I had one person from Spain reach out about it and say they love the show and love my character on the show. But yeah, just stepping out in faith. And I was also, while I was on the show, even though it's a horror show, I was sharing the gospel. Like anytime I got, I was able to share about Christ and things like that. Oh yeah,
hallelujah.
Yeah. So one part I'm glad they did put in the show is when I was walking that tightrope, whatever thing. I was quoting scripture there, and that was in the show. So you would never thought, you never know where you can be and where you can spread the light of Christ. So I was able to do that on a horror show.
I love that. Yes.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned how it has impacted your life. And so what's next for you, Dujuan?
Oh yeah, great question. Hopefully more reality opportunities. I'm telling you, because Christina picked me up from the airport in Nashville, and I was riding this high for a week. Like, because, even though it's a horror show, we were kind of living the high life with production value behind the scenes. Like, they fed us good. Oh my gosh, the food, not having to pay for food, not having to worry about sleeping, and all these things. It was amazing. So it really made me realize.
Taste of celeb.
Yeah, right? Honestly, just a little bit, but yeah, I'm looking forward to more projects. So if somebody reaches out, I'm available. And of course, my acting gigs, I still love doing like small gigs, commercials, whatever the case may be.
Well, now he has upgraded from background feature, if anybody knows.
Oh, yeah. In my first role, I was a background on the Millie movie. It was Queen of the Ring. And me and Christina, we actually went to Louisville, and we were just background wrestling fans back there cheering on the 1950s wrestling ring. So
and now we're sitting beside me. You see the reality TV actor.
It's amazing.
Your life can change like this. So we're so happy for you. Of course, without giving too much away, we want to ask Dujuan, what can fans expect on the seasons to come?
Definitely. I really do believe there will be multiple seasons of the show, because this was the first, experimental phase of it. And I think they did a fantastic job on what they produced, because it's never been done before, like a horror reality competition show that's also like a movie, because in the later episodes, they kind of get more into like the movie aspect of it. So it's very interesting how he did this. Like Greg Nicotero is just amazing at what he does, because it's blown me away, So I got lost. What was the question again? I'm just rambling, because I'm going back in my mind thinking about the show, and it's just like, oh my God, going through amazing stuff.
Yes, it is amazing. And, as you said, like this is the first season.
Yeah.
And for you to be like the trendsetter of this and to see where it evolves from here on, it's amazing.
And I think that's the best place to be in, because I could have been on season 3 or 4, but that probably wouldn't have had as much of an impact as being one of the first contestants on season 1. So yeah, it's very exciting. And I told them too, I was like, hey, if y'all need a host, call me back. I'll be here. So
yeah, so definitely we hope that you'll get some more opportunities from that.
Oh,
and we're just gonna follow your journey. We know you're a go-getter. A trendsetter now. Okay. And so what advice would you give to someone who would be thinking about competing on a show like Guts and Glory?
Oh my gosh, advice. Like I said, step out on faith. get out of your comfort zone. That's the biggest part. You got to get out of your comfort zone in order to elevate. And if you want to get into TV, start with small gigs. Start doing those commercials. Start doing those background features. I got started through Facebook groups, just looking up Kentucky castings, Tennessee castings, and they would always be Postmate, and I would sign up. And if I got it, I got it. And, God opened so many doors to elevate me to where I'm at now. So, yeah, just step out and don't be afraid to elevate and get out of your comfort zone.
In other words,
yeah.
Faith over fear.
Oh, yeah.
There's the 3 words right there. Dujuan, thank you so much for being on the show. We wish you nothing but the best, and we'll continue to watch to see how this plays out. So thank you again for taking the time to be on Voice Thoughts again.
Thank you for having me.
Our episode 2 sponsors will now be presented to you again by Mahabeer-Turner.
And we want to thank our title sponsor today, Exit Realty Key Group. In a world where buying a home can feel like a horror movie full of twists, surprises, and suspense, Exit Realty Key Group helps you turn fear into confidence. Not every move needs screams or scares. Real estate without the fright. Visit them at www.exitkeygroup.com. We want to thank our episode sponsor, Terry Berry Health Coach. Take charge of your health today because not doing so can lead to scary results, according to Terry Berry, living younger champion and owner of Optimal Solutions for Business and Body. See our 2-page website for appointment or links at www.terryberry.com.
You can watch Voice Thoughts talk show and podcast on YouTube, listen on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Apple Music. Join our Facebook group. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Voice Thoughts talk show and podcast. I have been your host. My name is Danette Mahabeer-Turner, and I'll see you on the next episode.